hard to believe, but it is midway. This is being recorded Wednesday, midway through the last week of MLB's regular season. We have playoffs coming up next week, and the races are tightening. So we wanted to do a bit of an MLB discussion. We're going to talk about the wild card race. Which teams do we want to see? Who's going to finish coming in. We're going to talk about which team has the most approved this postseason. Should be interesting there. And then also mention a little bit of some dark horse teams. So just to recap, I guess the wild card race as it stands right now. In the American League, Toronto holds the number. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Toronto's leading the AL East. The Yankees hold the number one wild card spot right now. And then it goes to the Red Sox, and then now the Tigers. The Detroit Tigers, who were 15 and a half games ahead in the AL Central, are now in wild card territory. They hold the third wild card spot right now. So those are the three wild card teams. And then the Astros are one game out, still very well in it. One game back, trying to get a wild card spot as well in these last couple of days. And then in the National League, it's the Mets for that final spot because the Cubs and Padres, they already got the other two wild card spots. Padres may still take the National League West. But you still have the Mets and the Reds who are one game back, the Diamondbacks who I believe are one game back. And then as of tonight, though, I do want to mention, Jake, your Marlins were still technically alive for the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen now. They're losing 11-1 to the Phillies. Jordan updated
We
me. But what was that, Jake?
we lost. It was 11-1. I don't want to talk about it. I do want to say this is one of the best seasons I've ever watched as a Marlins fan. There was no fight in this team, even when we were, even though a lot of people counted us out. We still played like a team, got the wins, got close to playoffs, but no guys.
Oh yeah, this was a good season for the Marlins. I think they were like 20 below in like May or June, and now they were like 77 and 80 as of tonight. They'll probably lose tonight, but very good rebound season. We'll
Well,
see
they
what
did.
they we'll see. Okay, that game finished up. We'll see what they do with it in the offseason. That's been a problem with them, but very good season. But I just wanted to say looking at this list, especially in the National League, I don't want to see the Mets. I think that's boring. I think Juan Soto's had an okay season, but I'm so tired of that dynamic. They spent all this money and they're only 80 and 76. I want to see the Reds in the playoffs. I think that'd be cool. I think the Reds have been knocking on the door. The Diamondbacks are cool, but they were just in the World Series a couple of years. I want to see the Reds in the National League. And in the American League, uh, I have some buddies who are Tigers fans, so I feel bad against rooting against them, but I hate AJ Hinch so much that I do sort of want to see them implode because I kept hearing, oh, AJ Hinch is such a good manager. He knows everything. Nope, he got lucky. He was on a cheating team, and I think that's coming to fruition. But I have nothing against the Tigers outside of AJ Hinch, but we'll see how the American League finishes up. But yeah, I'll throw it to Jake. Jake, what are you feeling on these wild card races as we head to the end here?
Yeah, well, Evan, we all want to see the legs. We all want to see the legs in the playoffs. I think it would be very interesting to see Cincinnati in the playoffs. The problem with the legs is they had to face Paul Scenes for 6 innings tonight, and you know, Cincinnati outside young, they got shut after 6 innings. Paul Scenes finished with 6 innings, 4 hits, and 7 strikeouts against the legs that they currently trail the Pirates 2-1. Um, I believe that game's in the seventh inning. Or maybe the eighth inning. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, no. The Mets, though, I feel like the Mets. They went out, spent a lot of money. Obviously, went out to go get Juan Soto. It'd be a shame if they don't make the playoffs by New York standard, but I'm kind of tired of hearing about the Mets saying, "Oh, they get this, oh, they get that." I kind of don't want to see them in the playoffs. And in the NL, as you were talking about the Reds, I would, I would see the Diamondbacks in the playoffs as well. And the reason I say that is the Diamondbacks are a really interesting team. They got Zach Gallen, um, Corbin Carroll, Kakel Marte, really young team, really interesting team. So
Can I
yeah,
uh, can I interject real quick?
yeah,
Um, were you talking about the fact that you want to see Cincinnati and Arizona in the playoffs, like both of them?
yes, I was. Yeah,
Well, only one of them can get a playoff spot.
All right, come on, game 163. We gotta hope they tie and the Mets start losing. That's what you gotta root for, Jake. All right.
Right,
Hey, you know
Yeah,
what? Hey,
right.
yeah.
it's happened. Hey,
It happened
you
last
know
year, I
what? It's
believe.
happened
Oh no,
before. It
that
can happen
was a
again.
different situation.
There was one recently that started like that. But yeah, Jordan, what do you see with the wild card teams? What are you looking forward with?
Well, personally, I think it would be hilarious if the Dodgers ended up as a wild card and the Padres took the NL West, because obviously you had the Dodgers win the World Series last year, and and I don't know, like it just seemed like there were talks of, oh, is this the next MLB's next dynasty and all that, and it would just be funny to see the Padres take the NL West from them and the Dodgers having to go on the road in the wild card series. So that'd be kind of funny to me. But I think we're all in agreement here. I personally do not want to see the Mets in the playoffs. I know I'm a Braves fan and all that, and the Braves and Mets, like all, but honestly, I really don't want to see the Mets in the playoffs because you're just always hearing about this. Oh, New York's a big market. Oh, they paid Juan Soto like 760 million dollars, whatever it was, for 14 years, I believe it was. And it's like, oh, the Mets this and the Mets that. It's come on, like I'm just tired of the Mets, man. Like I just do not want to see them in the playoffs. So come on, either Cincinnati or Arizona, one of the two.
That's
Let's
just
go.
been said everywhere. Am I right?
No, I guess we all became tired of them. But all right, so let's go to which team has the most prove in the playoffs. And I think it's sort of an obvious answer. I think it's the Milwaukee Brewers. I think when you look at the Brewers, they're as of tonight, I think they're at 95 wins. 96 wins is their all-time regular season
I,
the
can,
highest they've ever gone.
can I throw an update?
Yes.
Oh, the Brewers, I believe, won their 96th game today in San
Okay, so
Diego.
they
That would
so
tie the
they
franchise record.
tied their franchise record. 4 games left. They're very likely going to get it. So the Brewers are they have that going right now. They do have the best record in baseball. I think the Phillies were a couple games behind. Brewers are probably going to finish with the best record in baseball. Um, and so you look at that. You look at a team like the Brewers. They've never won the World Series. Not a lot of teams like that are left. Most teams have at least one World Series. The Brewers have never won. They haven't been in one since the 80s. They've been in the playoffs a lot recently. They've won the NL Central, the last couple of seasons, and or at least they've been in the playoffs the last couple of seasons, and especially last year with that meltdown against the Mets, where they were winning 2-0, and then Pete Alonso hit the ding dong off of Devin Williams, who is no longer on the Brewers, but just not a lot of good playoff memories for the Brewers recently. They have to, I think they have pressure. They cannot lose in a divisional round. They have to, I think for this postseason be a success for them. I know they want to win it all, but they have to at least get to the National League Championship Series and be competitive in it too. I think if you want to call this playoffs somewhat of a success for the Brewers, they have the most pressure, I think.
So
You
for
know,
me,
so
We'll let Jordan go first, then Jake.
the team with the most to prove, Evan mentioned it. Yes, the Brewers have the best record in baseball. They've never been in the World Series. Never won the World Series. Excuse me. Only one team has never made the World Series, and they're also in the postseason. Shout out Seattle. Um, but to me, the team with the most to prove in the postseason has to be the Philadelphia Phillies. In 2022, you look at it, they beat the Braves, right? And then they beat, I believe, the Padres to make the World Series, but they lost to Houston. So they repeat or run it back in 2023. They beat the Braves, but they blow the 3-2 lead to the Diamondbacks in the NLCS. And then in 2024, you have uh, they win the NL East for the first time, and I think 2011. And then they lose in 4 games to the Mets. And then you have the Phillies this year, who have the second best record in baseball, I believe, maybe third behind Toronto as well. Um, but for me, it has to be the Phillies. It's honestly put up or shut up time for them. As a Braves fan, I would love to see them fall flat on their face again, like I did, the last 3 years. But I'm honestly getting kind of nervous. I think the Phillies team might be for real. The sad part is though, half of their lineup is in their mid 30s. Kyle Schwarber is 33 years old. Bryce Harper's 33. JT Realmuto's 34. Nick Castellanos is 33. You're having Kyle Schwarber is having a monumental season this year. Coming into tonight, he had hit 54 homers. He added two more tonight, so that's 56. Actually, two behind Cal Raleigh, which would be the major league lead. You have maybe arguably the best rotation heading into the postseason, headlined by Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, Aaron Nola. So for me, the Phillies put up or shut up.
For me, and I just want to give y'all a couple quick updates here. Tyler Stevenson, home again in the bottom of the ninth to tie the game for the Cincinnati Reds, and the New York Mets are currently losing to the Chicago Cubs 5-0 as the Cubs pushed across 3-5 in the bottom of the third. I think the team that has the most to prove, Evan and Jordan, I think, you got to think about the Toronto Blue Jays. So you think to yourself, when was the last time the Toronto Blue Jays actually made the playoffs, actually had a great season? And, it doesn't really come to mind. And it's like Toronto is really one of those teams that, they're either up or they're down. And this year they happen to be up. They obviously have a great team. Vladimir Guerrero. We got Bo Bichette. We got all these players, and I just think the Toronto Blues just have a lot to prove in this postseason.
All right, last thing I wanted to talk about for baseball is the dark horse teams. Who's a team that you could see being a dark horse who could, take a series you didn't think would take or maybe take it all? I'm going to look at I think the San Diego Padres, I think, are a team that people are overlooking. They've been in the playoffs a couple of years now. They were a team that didn't do a lot historically. They're another one of those teams that have never won a World Series. But you look at the lineup. I was just looking at their lineup when they were playing my White Sox this weekend. Everybody in that lineup is batting over 250. Nobody's going amazing. I mean, you do have Fernando Tatis. You have some star power there, but also just a lot of guys who contribute to Manny Machado, Xavier Bogaerts, Jackson Merrill in that lineup in center field. Gavin Sheets is playing decent there. Like you got a lot of just Luis Ariz is still playing okay. Some very very solid hitters there. And then on the pitching end too, Dylan Cease experience, Yu Darvish very experienced. Nick Pivetta, who might be their best pitcher statistically this year, is pitching very well. So you have a lot of experience on that team. A lot of and I think I think they're fired up. I think that the team's been they put a lot of money into the Padres, their ownership, and can they get over the hump of winning some series? We'll see. But I think they're a dark horse just because of their experience, and I think there's a lot of teams who are good this year that don't have a ton of postseason experience. So give me the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I will. I will agree with the Padres. I agree with the experience you got. The unfortunate, like the what seems like the Dodgers hump they just can't get over. But whether that be winning the NL West or just beating them in the postseason, we all remember how last season ended with them taking a 6-0 lead in Game 3 in the third inning, and then not scoring for I believe 24 innings in a row to lose that series in 5. Capped off by a 2-0 loss in Game 5. But Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, Luis Ariz, they all have experience in that lineup. And then you look at the back end of their bullpen. To me, Ranger Suarez might be the best closer in baseball. Of course, Mets fans and Phillies fans might disagree with that, with Johan Duran and Edwin Diaz respectively. But the Padres to me are the dark horse in this postseason.